Immersed in a sea of old photos, I'm feeling incredibly content. Going through these old photos is so good for the soul. They jog a feeling of happiness in me, and I find it so amazing that my parents found it worth their time to document my life so thoughtfully. There's a lot of effort put in these pages. You can just feel it's created with love. It's such a great reminder that my life is worth documenting, when otherwise some darker feelings take a hold of me from time to time. Lately, I've had this persistent doubt about my societal worth, specifically because I quit my job a couple of months ago. No longer a productive part of society. My worth has been linked to my productivity for far too long. Negative, but if you hang with me, I promise that this video is all about the positive vibes. Currently, I'm visiting my hometown Schiedam in the Netherlands. I live in Florida and my parents here in Schiedam. I'm incredibly grateful that I can visit them right now. But most of the year, we don't see each other in real life. We do connect very regularly through FaceTime or WhatsApp, which is absolutely awesome. Even with oceans and miles between us, my connection with my parents remains an important foundation in my life. But at times, since my loved ones live so far away from me, and I'm not there majority of the time, this nagging question surfaces. Would anyone miss me if I just vanished one day? I don't want to sound overdramatic, but at times it just feels like my life doesn't have that much of an impact at all. But flipping through these old photos makes me realize that I'm incredibly wrong. My life is absolutely impactful. It's massively impactful to these two, my parents, who I love so much, and they love me so much. I'm thankful to have a loving home and a loving upbringing, and still a place to come home to when the real world just gets to be a little bit too much. I love escaping my day-to-day and come home to Schiedam and hang out with my parents. It grounds me. Flipping through these pages, I'm transported back in time to moments that were captured by this German-made Praktica SLR camera, bought by my parents 42 years ago. There's so much we won't remember about our lives. So many small, mundane, beautiful moments that happen throughout the day that you just simply won't remember years from now. Or maybe even next week or tomorrow. You may have forgotten about them already. All the more reason to find a way to protect those memories, document them in some type of way. That can be journaling, that can be by video, and that could also be photography. I'm of a generation that can still remember a world that was not fully digitized yet, and film cameras were a part of that. I still remember using those little single-use film cameras when I was young before digital became widespread. Looking at old photos fills me up with nostalgia and made me reflect on the cherished foundation my connection with my parents has become, despite the oceans and miles between us. Aim? I think that nostalgia is longing for a place or a time, which for most is a time or a place that is unreachable. When looking at the photos from my past, I'm instantly transported to those times. Time travel, that's what this is. And instead of longing for that time and place, I find myself in it again, in that time and place. And I really think that's the importance of documenting your life. There's something about the uniqueness of a film photo, these physical photos rather than digital ones. It's the singularity of the photo that makes it special. And what's also incredibly beautiful about film photography is that it shows you the passage of time. The photos become older as we get older as well. I think that's a beautiful quality of having physical photos. Not just you, but the photos also become more interesting with time. Film photography is technically worse, less time efficient, and more expensive compared to digital photography. But what's drawing me in is the slowing down of it all. This camera does not have an automatic mode. It forces me to take my time, be more present in the environment that I am to take the photo. Instead of just pointing and shooting and moving on, I stop and take in the scene much more. And incidentally, you take more in of the sounds and the smells around you as well, since you're much more in the moment. You feel the wind more, the sun, the cold. I love that. And then when I look back at the photos, I will be able to recall all those senses of the moment much more, since I spent more time in it. I'm much more present and intentional with the photos I shoot on this camera. I only have 36 exposures on a roll, and it's going to be pricey to develop. Also, the roll of film itself seems to be unnecessarily expensive. So yeah, I want to make every shot count. The lack of instant gratification, that's so incredibly special in these times. You have to really spend time with and enjoy the process. You just don't know the outcome right away, which arguably makes it less important. I have no clue how this first roll of film will come out. 36 shots, and I'm hoping that I'll have at least one shot worth saving. Who knows? And that's so cool. This is really training my patience. And I think that patience is a skill that's becoming more and more rare. A skill that I find worth developing. I guess right now, the resurgence of film photography is like the cool thing to do. I realize that now that I've been researching how to shoot film. So inadvertently, I may have become cool now as well with this film camera hanging around my neck. Not a bad side effect, since as a kid I was always envious of the cool kids. Something I certainly was not. I mean, come on, look at this thing. It just looks cool. It'll be a while before I get the results of this first roll. My expectations are low, as I said before. I'm sure the photos will not be fantastic. And that's okay. I'm not doing this to be good at it. I just like doing it, and that's all that matters. You're witnessing the birth of a new hobby. So now this camera is mine, a gift from my dad, and I love it. The second roll is already loaded and ready to document everything around me. Document my life. I'll continue what my parents have started. They thought it was worth it, and so do I. Because I do have a positive impact on those around me. I am valuable. And just in case you're wondering, so are you. Never question your value.